Hello to another episode of Tech Talk. I'm glad to be here at the WRPB studios in Port St. Lucie. They're doing a wonderful job at the studio, putting everything together all the time. And today we will be talking about investing into your IT business or into your business, especially. We all run businesses, most of the people that are watching this show. And when it comes to investing into your people and equipment, that's one of the most important things. I've learned over the last 28 years that, first of all, obviously investing into your staff, into your people, that's the most important thing, but also into the products and everything they need to use every day. And sadly, what I see quite a bit in the industry, in any type of business, is that sometimes it's either the employees or the equipment is not really up to par when it comes to working every day, making it more complicated. And so we're going to talk about that today, how you can improve your business and what I've seen in mine, especially how it can be more efficient and things like that, especially when it comes to technology. As we all know, a happy employee obviously produces more profit, gets more stuff done. For example, I see quite often we're an IT company, so we go to customers' places and we see that they're sitting you have an employee sitting at a monitor that is way too small, maybe a 15-inch monitor or 17-inch monitor from the 1995 area, and can't see the screen. First of all, screens are very inexpensive nowadays, so there's no excuse anymore to have a 24-inch monitor on your desk for an employee. And once we switch them over, but something that's simple, you can imagine that employee is much more efficient, gets more work done, is happier, doesn't have to run to the eye doctor to get their eyes checked. Something that as simple as that. So, and then also utilizing technologies like, for example, dual monitor setups. When it comes to workstation setups nowadays, we recommend highly to have dual monitor setup for many workplaces, because having two screens, I'm actually using four screens in my office for myself because I like to see everything that's going on. That allows you to get more work done, and you don't have to keep closing your windows. You can have everything open. Like, for example, I have QuickBooks running, I have Outlook running, I have several windows for monitoring running, I have messengers running. So it's quite amazing how that works. These setups allow you to get more work done and don't lose focus on what you're doing on the screen. That's the biggest thing. And then obviously having a setup that is comfortable. We are not in the business of selling chairs or furniture, anything like that, but another thing I see quite often in setups is that the actual chair the employee sits on maybe only costs $30 from some large retail company and their back hurts and they can't sit there all day long. So investing into a nice chair in a nice environment, let's say invest at least $200 or $300 into the chair, makes your employee a lot more willing to sit there all day long and get some work done without having back pain. And once something starts and they can't come to work, then of course that starts costing the owner more money. But also a lot of other things. When it comes to going out and evaluating many business sites I see on a daily basis, we see some mistakes that are being made, and they're being repeated throughout the years. And so I was going to talk a little bit about what is actually a server, for example. Many consumers do not know that there are different grades of computers out there. You have the consumer grade of computer and you also have the commercial grade of computer. So we are an authorized Lenovo reseller, for example, and we sell Lenovo products and we build our own computers too. We've done this for almost 30 years. When it comes to notebooks, for example, you can have the notebook that costs $400 or $500, or you can spend $800 and more for a commercial notebook. Now, people always ask me, what's the big difference here? It's still the same processor, it's maybe still the same memory, but it's the whole build quality. So you have to imagine you have a keyboard that's much better for typing, much more ergonomic. The keyboard lasts longer. When you have a notebook like the one I have here on my desk, for example, you have something like hinges these hinges get opened and closed all the time. This is, for example, a really nice ThinkPad from Lenovo. This is one of the carbon ones, very thin. And they're engineered to be taken to the workplace. So if you accidentally drop it or you're a little rougher with it, which I don't recommend, but still it survives it a lot better than a cheap notebook. So they designed these hinges to open closing to be much more robust. They don't break out, because my technicians see it on a daily basis that notebooks come in where the screen is broken or the hinges are worn out or the keyboard's worn out. So investing into a couple $100 more into a notebook is very well worth it. Now, let's talk about, we just talked about PCs and notebooks. So you have a regular PC, a home PC, and a work PC. The difference is also in quality. They're designed to run 24/7. When it comes to most computers, they're only designed to run during the work day and that's it, or at home for 8 hours, and then they don't last as long if you run them 24/7. So I get a lot of questions asked about what is a server, for example. What is a business server? So we're not talking about somebody who brings the drinks to you. We're talking about a computer that acts as a database, as basically the one machine that runs the entire business. All your data is supposed to reside on your server. It's supposed to be the central storage for everything. It is also, the server decides also the security of your network. So the server decides who can log in, who has passwords, and controls the whole place. Sadly, sometimes budget gets in the way, and then something's being utilized as a server. So I've seen it where businesses use a regular home computer, a regular consumer computer, and they decide to make that a server by basically just putting the data on there and sharing the data over across the network. Now that is not a good idea, because first of all, you're saving money now. At the end, you're not really saving much money, because if that machine goes down and it's not working, then everybody on the network can operate. So what a server does is, it's basically just like a regular computer, but the hardware is much higher grade. It's designed to run 24/7, and it's also designed so that something goes bad on it, which everything goes bad. Everything dies and falls apart after some time, that you can actually service the machine without shutting it down all the way. So let's say we are, for example, we're monitoring a lot of companies in River County, and we can see if their server is actually working or not. And if we see with an alarm that, okay, that server has a failing hard drive or has a failing power supply, we dispatch one of our technicians to come out on site. Without the owner even knowing there's something going wrong, we can tell him, your hard drive is failing or your fan is not working anymore. We come and replace these parts without having to shut down the whole business. So the server keeps running, the power still is on, everybody can work happily all day long, and there's no interruption. So it's designed so that you never have to go down as a business. And we all know how important it is to have your business to stay up and running all the time. Once your business is at the point where it doesn't work, then you can operate, and obviously then your employees aren't very happy and you're not very happy. So next topic we're going to talk about is something very dear to me, and that is cloud computing. I get asked this question over and over and over again. Every month I get this question multiple times. Is cloud computing, first of all, what is it? And honestly, cloud just means, it's a very fancy name for internet storage. If you used email in the past, you use cloud computing. Okay, it's just a fancy name that somebody came up with and got paid a lot of money for that silly name called cloud. So anyway, why are you using cloud? Well, nowadays it's a matter of convenience. So instead of running your programs on your own computers and on your own server, now you are paying another company to host the programs for you and your data on the internet, up here on the cloud. Now, if you didn't pick a good company to host your data, it's going to be a rainy cloud, I would say. It could be a little funny right there. Not very good. But you have to imagine when you decide, and most businesses nowadays, especially healthcare and a lot of other companies, financial companies, are now depending highly on the cloud to get their data and work all day long. If your internet connection doesn't work, then what do? Nothing. You can send your employees home and nobody's very happy. So what do you need to do? I mean, we all live in Florida here, and some of you watching may be living past that area, I hope. Internet is not a constant. Internet goes down a couple times a month. And I always recommend highly, if you are running a business and you're depending on the internet to run your business, invest into getting a secondary internet connection. What that means, you have two internet connections. You might have, let's say, Comcast and AT&T coming in into the building, and you have what's called a dual router, and that basically is a failover switch that automatically picks either connection in case one goes down. That means you never go down, unless both go down, which is very unlikely. So we've set that up many, many times for businesses in town, especially the ones that are listening to the advice and want to invest the money, and they don't go down. They can operate 24/7 without having problems like that. So very important to have a dual internet connection if you're using anything that's based on the internet. Next topic, I was going to talk about that too when it comes to cloud computing. When that term first came about, I would say 15 years ago now, it's been that long, people thought this would be the answer to everything. We don't have to buy computers anymore. We can all sit around on iPads and operate our business from our couch. Well, that didn't happen, and now you have more equipment than ever. And also because the cloud wasn't the answer to everything. It is very important nowadays, but you need to also realize that there are different types of setups. For example, there's something called a hybrid cloud. Hybrid. And what that means is that you have a copy of your data on site still, on your own hardware, on your own server, and one on the internet. Now, that means if the internet completely shuts down or you have no access to that online server, you can still operate. Once the internet is restored, it will resynchronize everything to the cloud online. So that's how the hybrid cloud works. And also I get a question all the time. When I move to the cloud, it's going to save me a lot of money. No, it does not. Cloud is just for convenience. It's made it more convenient for all of us to operate our businesses. You can be on the road. Realtors use the cloud all day long, access data left and right. Many businesses do. And it's just very important that you have a good internet connection for that. When it comes to these kind of setups, cloud computing works, but you need to have sure that internet works all the time. So I highly recommend getting the dual internet connection. Now, saving money again. You don't save any money with the cloud. The reason I'm saying that is because you are paying more at the end, but you're also now depending on the cloud setup to run your business. So when it comes to pricing, you pay every month for a certain amount of maintenance fee from this company to host your data. So that price goes up and up and up. Now you're dependent on a cloud provider to run your business. You really cannot reverse that now. You can, but it gets very complicated. And a new term came about a couple of months ago. I heard it for the first time. Normally I hear things pretty quickly, but I was very surprised about that term coming about, and it's called declouding. So you can imagine, declouding means people wanting to go back to the old ways of not using the cloud because it got too expensive to run their business, and now they're going back to running their own data on their own hard drives and own environment, which is all cool. But you have to imagine, once you're on the cloud and you're relying on all their security and their backups to run your business, now you have to duplicate this on your own side again. which means it's going to be a lot of money, a lot of investment trying to make that work. So for most companies, I don't recommend that, going declouding, but we probably see more of that in the future. But anyway, we're almost out of time here. It's 15 minutes, and he's telling me we got to go. So how can ACT help you with all these things? Well, we've been in business for almost 28 years now, and we have technicians out on the road all day long. We have a beautiful retail store right behind me. That's actually not real, right? That's a green screen, but that's our real store. You can come visit us. We're at 1525 US 1 Vero Beach, Florida 32960, and phone number is 772-567-7888. And our website is www.actcomp.us. And you're welcome to come in our beautiful retail store and look around. We have some really nice technicians wanting to help you out with all the questions. And we'll hope to see you in the shop soon. And this is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.